There we go. It's loading. Sorry, my computer was loading. I'm Kaylee. I'm the teacher of finances. I had to turn my heater off because it was making all this. It was noisy. I felt like I'm Kaylee, the teacher of finances. I am on here today for Thankful Thursdays. Today we're going to talk about being grateful for adversity. So everyone's always complaining about adversity, and you may be thinking, why are you even saying be grateful for it? Like, how can we be grateful for hard times, right? So if you're watching this live, if you'll drop me a one in the comments, if you catch it afterwards, drop me a two. At any time and point in this, if you find anything that's valuable, please hashtag valuable in the comments. That's just helps me with understanding what you guys like to hear. So why in the world would I say be grateful for adversity? Guys, buckle up because this one I feel like is very powerful. Don't you know, like, adversity is something that's like a serious condition, and it's constant. It's a I say a serious condition. It's serious and continuous phases of difficult misfortune. So why would I be grateful for that? Well, because it builds character. All right. Anytime we have to go through something hard in life and we can face it and overcome it, it's going to build your character. It's February, and the vibes and the energy from your New Year's resolutions probably aren't there anymore. If they are, then I'm proud of you. But most of the time, by the time February hits, you're not on the same path that you were January 1st. So, where are you in your goals? Are you still pushing towards them? Or have you finally just said, you know what, screw it, I'll try again next year? Because most of the time at this point of the year, that's where most people are. So, what happened though? What's caused you to lose that energy to achieve your goals for the year? Have you faced something difficult or a hard situation? Do you feel like you're facing adversity all the time right now? If you have, it's normal. It happens. So what do you do with adversity is the most important factor, though. And so today I'm going to break down a couple different things. I'm going to go into different topics about your mindset and how to face adversity. First, I want to start with a quote. Adversity causes some men to break and others to break records. And that's by Arthur Ward. So adversity is going to allow you to build your character, like I mentioned, but it's a very important trait of resilience. So through resilience, I can't talk. One is able to be bolder and more level-headed, and then your character strengthened, and you're able to move on from painful circumstances. So out of adversity comes opportunity. Ben Franklin said that. So the first component we're going to look at is announcements versus achievements. So whenever you're looking at your life, how are you saying it? And I pulled some of this from Trent Shelton's podcast today. I'm going to quote some of his stuff here in a little bit, but this was so powerful the way that he broke this down. So when you are talking about things or you're looking at your life, are you using statements of announcements or are you doing actions of achievements? Okay, so announcements are going to be making a formal statement. So you make a statement saying you're going to get in shape, you're going to work out, you're going to eat better, you're going to make healthy choices, okay? But when you say that, do you say it with 100% belief that you're going to achieve it, regardless of how many birthday parties you have to go to in January and all the birthday cake and all the functions that you have to go to? Or are you just talking about it instead of doing it? So, like, where are you at on that? Is it an announcement? Is it something you're just talking about doing? You might do it, maybe, it just depends. Or is it something that you say, okay, I'm going to do this with everything in me. Doesn't matter what life types of curveballs life wants to throw at me. I'm going to keep pushing. And then the other thing is when you do something that's more of an achievement statement, not necessarily even a statement, but an action, an achievement action, it's something that you are doing in your mind and you don't even have to talk about it. So achievements when something is done successfully by effort, courage, or skills. And so if you're making things that are achievement actions or you are putting things into place in your life that's going to be an achievement, you just do it. So do you say that you're going to quit binge eating every weekend and you talk about it and you post it all over social media, but then you don't do it? So that's your announcement, right? So if you start working out, you don't tell anyone around you, but then 2 months later, people are saying, wow, you look good. And you never said anything, that's your achievement. So which one are you in right now? And kind of depending on which one you're in, like where do you feel like you're falling, that's also going to determine how much adversity you're facing. Because if you're just making announcements and you're not doing actions to reach those achievements, it's going to feel like adversity is hitting you all the time. So it's all about the matter of putting in those actions into place and doing it day in and day out, day in and day out until you achieve your goal or whatever mission you're on. And so when you're making an announcement, think about what actions are going with that. And if you make an announcement and then have an achievement, that's great. But just making sure that when you say something, that you really mean it. Like, do those actions that go with it, okay? So another example I said was like, so do you go on social media and say, hey, I'm going to work out and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But then 30 minutes later, your dog chews up your shoe. And so your whole day is ruined. And then you say, you know what? I'll just do it tomorrow. So which one are you doing? Where are you? Okay. Now let's go into the next concept. Promises or commitments. So you have to start making commitments because promises are not actions. Promises are feelings and feelings go away. Commitments are when you keep going no matter what way, no matter which way your body's feeling. So you're going to keep doing it no matter what. So think of it as a parent. Now, I know not all parents are like this. I always have to put disclaimers, but not all parents are like this, and I get it. But in an ideal situation, a parent is committed to loving their child unconditionally. They're committed to making sure that they provide for that child and give them the best life they can. It's not a promise because people don't keep promises, but it's a commitment. It's something that they are going to be doing regardless. Even when they're not feeling like it, they still do it. Even when they don't feel like feeding their kids because they're tired or they're sick, they still do it. It's a commitment they make. It's ongoing and it doesn't get interrupted when unexpected things happen. And then here's another great example. This was when I'm thinking about planning all this out, this is all in my head, I could just think of like, this is perfect to relate it to. So think of like addiction or alcoholism versus trying something to see or what it's like for the first time. So alcoholism is not having a taste of wine or beer just to see what it tastes like. Alcoholism and addictions is when someone starts it, they can't stop. It consumes everything within that person. So when they're addicted to it, there's no trying. There's no just halfway doing it. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to try a little bit here. No, there's no halfway about it. They're doing it all the time and there's no stopping it. And addiction is not typically something that they had always wanted to do necessarily. And most people aren't happy having an addiction. But if it's positive, then that's a little bit different, you know. But if it's not, the concept is the main thing I want to think about and talk about. So it consumes them. And that's why I wanted to compare it to a commitment. And so that commitment is something that's consuming, like you are so into it that there's no taking you away from it. If you're addicted to something, you're going to end up doing it 100% of the time, regardless of what comes in the way. So, I mean, a drug addict never has money, right? But they always find a way to have drugs. How does that work? You have no money, you have no house, but you have drugs. You see my point? They always find a way. So no matter what stands in the way of that person and what they want, they're going to do it. Using commitment to change your life for the better is crucial. And I'm not saying being committed means being addicted by any means, but I'm just trying to give you that concrete comparison of the two. You have to want to control what's going on in your life. But if you want it, you have to make sure that you know that there's going to be things that's going to take you off the path. And you're going to just have to deal with it. And you're going to have to face it. And you're going to have to keep pushing and push through it. You may not like CrossFit, for example. And you realize that I like dance fitness better. So you tried CrossFit, but you didn't commit to it. Okay? So now we're going to kind of switch from where we were at with promises and commitment. We're still going to stay on commitment, but we're going to switch to trying. So you tried CrossFit, didn't really like it. I don't like CrossFit, but it is what it is. But I like dance fitness. And so instead of committing to CrossFit, I wanted to work out. I wanted to be healthy. I found something I could commit to that didn't make me feel miserable. Okay. And so I tried something, didn't care for it. And then I changed my ways and I committed to something else. So sometimes people have to do several things in several different ways of doing certain things before they realize how they are going to commit to it. And that's fine. But whatever you're going towards in life, whatever your goals, dreams, whatever it is, your vision, you have to figure out the path to keep you from falling off the path. Okay. Let's see. The switch that really takes place that's going to set you apart though is when you quit having that trying mindset and you switch to the committed mindset. So switching back to talking about addiction, trying it out for the first time doesn't mean that you're committed to it. And when you say they're trying it, like you hear people say all the time, I'm trying to get clean, I'm trying to get clean. Well, are you trying to be sober or are you going to do it? So which one, like, are you committed to doing it or are you trying? And so it's a mindset thing. So if you're fully committed to it, then you're going to develop this inner strength. It's like it comes out of nowhere. It's so crazy how strong it is. But it's this inner strength that's so deep and so intense that it doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter who you're with, who you're around, what situation comes to in place, you refuse to fall backwards. We have a wonderful lady on our team, and she's been doing a fasting. And our founder, Paul, he talks about them going to this extravagant breakfast joint. I've never been there before, this place. And she sits down and she pulls an orange out of her pocket. That is commitment. Because she didn't say, oh, I'm going to eat the pancakes. I know I'm on a fasting and I'm dead set to do this and I'm dedicated to do this and these are my goals and this is what I'm doing, but I'm going to eat a pancake and I'm just going to slip up one time. No, she ate an orange. Well, they ate all kinds of crazy foods. That's commitment. You're dedicated and you're committed to changing your life. That's whenever that's when that switch comes on and it's a whole different type of feeling. If you've never been there, I just suggest you find something that you want to commit to, because when it comes on, So if you're sitting there saying that I'm going to try to do something, are you really that set on doing it? Using the word try is just setting yourself up for escape route. So if you aren't successful at it, you could say you tried, but you really weren't that into it. You were just trying it out. It wasn't that real for you because you just tried it. So if you don't achieve it, then you can just brush it off. It's just like, oh, whatever, no big deal. It's kind of like thinking about this. Do you want a new job? Have you made up your mind that you're committed to getting a new job? The difference in the two is that you're either steadily putting in job applications, quite possibly you've already quit your job, and then you are answering the phone because you think it's an interview. You're going to interviews. You're doing all of these things to get a new job. You are committed to finding a new job. But if you're just trying to find one, you're testing the waters. You're looking online. You might fill out part of an application here. You might fill out part of an application there. You're not really all in. So you aren't really hunting if you're just seeing what options are out there, right? It's a huge difference in the brain power that goes into the different types of these different types of mindsets. So you're halfway doing it or you're all the way doing it. So when you're committed, your actions are going to show it. You don't have to talk about it. This is where we go back to announcements versus achievements. If you're committed and you're doing, achievements are happening. If you are trying it, you're probably just talking about it. So when you're committed and you are dead set on being committed, adversity is not going to stand a chance. It's going to come, but it's not going to come in such full force that you're going to just be knocked down and over it. So it's really a matter of what have you told yourself that you're not going to do. So what are you not tolerating? What's it going to take to break you, and what's going to stand in your, like, how are you going to stand up to that moment that's going to break you? You have to see that this massive shift you're going to see a massive shift in your life whenever you start doing this. It makes a huge difference in your production and your output, the way you think. There's so many things that come with it. When you set your mind to commitment and achievements, then you actually start feeling that success in your life. So be grateful for the adversity and hardships, because it's going to allow you to open up your mind to the fact that success and achievements don't always fall in our laps. You have to work for it. If it's easy, everybody would do it. You have to be strong-headed. You have to be strong-willed if you want the best version of you. Things are not always smooth sailing. But accepting that and knowing that regardless of whatever situation you're going to do, like whatever situation is going to come about, it's going to make you get just a little bit closer to fulfilling your purpose, your visions, and your dreams. So being uncomfortable. I know you've heard me say it. I feel like I say it a lot. I've said it probably a lot more now than I ever have in my life. But when we're uncomfortable, it causes us to test that inner strength. It really pushes us. So it makes you look at yourself and like determine how strong are you and how much can you actually handle. How much are you going to be able to take before you throw in the towel because you're just sick of being uncomfortable? So we're going to take it back to addictions because, like I said, it's so easy to relate to. Addictions are some of the hardest things that people go through in life. So many people don't overcome them. So many times they try to get out of it. They try. You know, why? Why don't they ever come out of it? Why does it never come to an end? Why is it an ongoing battle? Because it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable not only for your body physically, but it's a mental thing. Like you're going through you're double, it's huge. You're going through both situations. You're fighting just your mind, but you're also fighting the physical side of it, the withdrawals and all the urges and all the different things that come with it. And so they give up because it's hard. It's so hard. And so when you're uncomfortable and you're constantly putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, it's forcing you to grow as a person. So it's the same thing in life. Every time you're in an uncomfortable, you're putting yourself in an uncomfortable state, you're going to keep growing, and you may not see that growth instantly. It takes time to see the growth, but then you wake up and you're like, wow, it's really not as uncomfortable being in this spot anymore. But that's kind of that's your point too, though. So when you're doing things and you don't like how it makes you feel, it's likely for the right reasons because it's pushing you to do better. And again, this is all in positive manner. If you're doing things that are good for your life and it's making you uncomfortable, it's pushing you to be better. Now, don't take that the wrong way. Eventually, you're going to have to decide if you think that you're going to go back and be comfortable again, how much are you giving up? Have you made all this progress, but now you're giving up? Do you keep pushing your limits and continue to fight towards the growth that you're working towards? Or do you just say, you know what, I've had enough? It is necessary to be uncomfortable, to grow. It's necessary. It has to happen. Can you change things and modify the way that you're doing specific things to help you reach your potential? Yes. Can you put yourself in situations maybe that aren't as uncomfortable? Yeah. But you can also change your mindset, which makes you not notice it as much. That's something I feel like I've done in my life is I don't notice that I'm uncomfortable as often because of the way I've changed my mindset. So when you're being uncomfortable, just constantly being uncomfortable, and you can continue to push through that, eventually you hit that growth. And once you hit that growth and you go back to what used to be comfortable for you, now that's going to be uncomfortable. That's when you know. That's when you know, like, wow, I've done something here. I've made it a little bit further because what used to be the norm for me no longer feels norm. And so the journey should be your destination. It's not, oh, I'm on a destination. No, it's the journey. It's with a path that you're going through. Your journey is going to change based on how far you grow and what standards and dreams you have. Maybe you achieve a dream, but then you decide that you have a bigger dream, right? Because you always want to have other things you're going for in life. You make how much ever money you want to make in a year. Now, what's next? So your destination, the journey needs to be your destination. So then that way it's always the path of where you're going. Okay, so going back to being comfortable, sorry, I got off on my notes. But on the side of when you're in that comfort state, if you don't push that uncomfortableness, now you're going to be stagnant. Now you're going to be back to square one, and you're not going to be doing better for yourself. You're in this world to fulfill a mission. You have a purpose. And some people, I know my husband's watching, and so for him, I kind of know, I have a clue what his purpose is because I know him intimately and we're close. But there may be people here watching that I don't know you very well. I don't know what your purpose is, but I do know that you were put here to do something amazing. But it's up to you to decide what that is. It's up to you to narrow yourself down into a point and say, what is it that I need to be doing here? So I listened to Trent Shelton this morning. I mentioned that earlier, and he made a comment about just the comfort zone. And that to me was the turning point. That was the turning point of when I realized, like, okay, I can be uncomfortable now just so I know that I can be comfortable later. But my comfortable later is not going to be my comfortable that it was at once before. Does that make sense? So, anyways, keep going. All right, goals and purposes. So your goals and where you're at in life right now, um, think about them and think about what's the reason. What is it that's got you where you're at or that's taking you further away from your goal? Figure out exactly what your reason is. And then you want to think about, is my reason bigger than myself? So what I do for income right now is helping families with life insurance, health, retirement, and different types of financial services. But my reason in life and my goals have nothing to do, it's not because of a paycheck. My reason is being a person, like my reason is being the person that makes a difference in other people's lives. It's way bigger than myself. So it's not because, oh, I'm here just to make money. If it were that, then it would just, I would be finding ways to charge clients to talk to them, give them the highest possible policy that would fit their, that they could possibly pay for so I could get a paycheck. But that's not me. Whatever my clients' needs are, then that's what I do, because my purpose is not for the money. My purpose is to serve others, to do for others. And you know, sometimes that means I don't even get a check out of it. There's times I may sit down with a family and say, you know what, your policy is perfect for your family. I don't get paid for that. And I don't, it's fine. Like, I don't care because it's for others and not myself. I do what I do because there's families out there that literally face financial hardships every single day because they did not protect their financial legacy ahead of time. And if I don't bring awareness to the fact that you could literally pay $50 a month for something that would allow your family to not face financial grief along with emotional grief, then if I'm not talking about it and bringing awareness to it, I'm not fulfilling my why. I have this, it's crazy. I have this crazy burning fire in me to make sure that I do everything I can to help people. I've watched my family go through it. I'm watching family go through it right now of not being protected. I don't want to see other people do that. So you can see where I'm going with it. My reason is to help families and make a difference in people's lives. It has nothing to do with financial, you know. And so when you're looking at your you and your reason, is it financial? Do you go to work just for a paycheck, or do you go to work to do something different, to fulfill a purpose? So there's a lot of times that I don't always want to go live or something, you know, or it takes time to do notes. But I know that if I come on here live, there's a slight possibility I'm going to make a difference in somebody's lives. I'm going to be able to add value. And maybe you're going through something right now and you hear this and it changes the way you're thinking and you're seeing life. That's my reason. So when you start taking yourself out of the equation and you realize like how much bigger picture it is, again, that's where your growth's going to come into place. Oh, where did I go? I kind of got off on my notes again. But anyway, so when you make up your mind, then your life's going to start changing for you. When you're doing for others, other like things are going to start happening to you. Mindset's going to be one of the hardest things that you have to change. I could be in a positive or negative, and that could be in a positive or negative manner. So when I say that, so I mean, when you say you've decided that you're going to do something different, and you 100% believe in it with everything that you have, then your mind's made up. Changing that is going to be so hard because you have locked it in. And it's just when your mind is set on it, you're going to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve because you made your mind up. So think about your goals. Think about where you're at right now in February. Have you really made up your mind that you're going to be different this year? Have you made your mind up that you're going to get in shape? Have you made your mind up that you're going to take that next leap in your job or be that better parent? Whatever it is that you want to do, have you actually made your mind up on it? Because if you had, then you're probably not facing very much adversity because now you're like a superstar when it comes to adversity because your mind is set. And then let's see. Yeah, so I even talked about examples of just what do different people expect? You know, so like what maybe you came from a low income household and you want to do better than your family. Have you really made your mind up at that though? And what have you done to get yourself there? Are you taking the steps and the actions that it's going to take to get you there? Maybe you want to impact more people, but you're sitting at home on the couch watching TV doing nothing. How are you impacting people? What is it that you want to do, but when are you going to make up your mind to get there? Your mind has to be 100% accepted of the task. And once you do, then there's not going to be very much that's going to throw you off the path. And then having an interested mind versus a champion mind. So again, coming back from Trent Shelton. So think about this. You have a child and they say, I want to play baseball. So they are showing like an interest in the sport, and you put them in a league. And then as a parent, you see that they are crazy dedicated to it. They have that burning fire inside of them. And so you decide, hey, let's do traveling. And you change to traveling baseball. Now you've shifted from that interested mindset to that champion mindset. You're no longer there for the silly participation trophy. You're in it to win it. So have you mentally prepared yourself to train day in and day out to reach your full maximum potential of whatever your goals and dreams are? So to be a winner in to be a winner in your life, I guess is the best way to say it, and to achieve your dreams, then you're going to have to mentally prepare yourself to train day in and day out. Do you have that champion background? Do you have that champion mindset? Or are you just standing on the sidelines Googling the stats to see what it takes to be successful and what the failure rate is, or the success versus failure rate? So really thinking about, am I just interested or am I ready to go? There's no in between. Y'all, I'm telling you, this lit me up today. It set me on fire when I got going on it. I'm almost done. Revisiting your purpose. So once you get to where you're at and you know that you're ready and you're on point and you say, okay, I'm going to do something different. This is where I'm at. My mindset's ready. But there's still going to be times that you may stray away from it. You may lose the energy. You may get tired of it. It happens. But it doesn't mean it has to go away, and it doesn't mean that you can't achieve your goals or your mission, your dream, whatever it is. Revisit it. So revisiting it means just going back to the day that you decided you were going to do that. I could take it back to the week before Christmas or mid-January, December, when I said, you know what, I'm building my business on social media. I could go back to that day, where I was at, what I was doing, when I decided to do it. Because that's where my massive energy came from. So if I start to fall off the path, I just go back and revisit it. Why did I want to do this? And what's going to get me going again whenever I struggle to have the energy to do it? You have to keep it in the forefront of your mind. You may do it every day. You may need to do it every day. Some people do it every week. Maybe it's every month. I don't know. Whatever's best for you, but you have to keep it in the forefront of your mind. I have a vision board on my phone, and I have it on the lock screen or the home screen of my computer. That helps me stay on my path. I see my vision board. It simply reminds me every day of what I want to do and why I want to do it. Every time I look at my phone, I'm reminded, oh, that's why I'm doing this. So maybe you've been doing something for years and years and years and you're successful at it, but now you don't have the energy to keep doing it. So go back and revisit what made you want to do it. Dig deeper. Find what it is that pushed you to get to where you are now, and see if maybe your purpose is just you, though. Because you've been doing it for so long. Now your burnout, is the purpose you, or is your purpose bigger than that? Remember, your check is not going to be fulfilling for you forever. What you get in a salary and income and all that, money's not always going to be fulfilling for you. Money may not always push you to be the best version of you. Do you have to have it? Yes. But you have to have something that's deeper and bigger than that. You're not always going to be happy with yourself either. So it can't just be you. You have to be on a track for a purpose and a reason, because there's going to be times you're not happy with yourself. And so you have to have an external something or another that's pushing you to do better. So what's going to keep pushing you to show up? And the last thing I have to say is, I made it on a post today, but when you reach your goals, that's an accomplishment in life, of course. But the real transformation is going to come whenever your goals have become your standards of life. And so you're probably like, what do you mean by that? So it's a huge shift that happens, and your mindset and your life's change drastically. So when I'm saying that, what I'm getting at is, take your goals and transform them into your standards of life. And when they become a natural habit to you, think about how you're not only going to achieve those goals, but now you're going to go above and beyond to like beyond the limits of what you had even set for yourself. So if you said you're going to read this, this, and this, or you're going to do this, this, and this, and these are your goals, that's great. But make it a standard. Make it something that you do all the time. Be committed to it. So now it's up to you to take action. So it's time for you to think about, what is your reason? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why do you want the things you want? What is it? And maybe it's not bigger than you. And if it isn't bigger than you, that's probably why you feel like adversity keeps slapping you in the face. Because it's a self-centered type thing. And that's okay, because a lot of people, it happens like that. It takes somebody listening to something like this, reading a book or listening to a podcast, to know that it doesn't always have to, it has to be bigger than that. So once you discovered that why of your life, it won't matter how adversity hits. You're going to be able to take it and just handle it every time. Stand up to it, head to head, toe to toe. So the $1 million question is, are you going to be the person that adversity is going to break? Or are you going to be the person that gets to go out there and break records when adversity hits? So that's all I have for you today. I told you guys I was fired up. I thought I was on fire for it all day long. So thank you for hanging out with me today. It's Thankful Thursdays, talk about gratitude. And today, like I said, just be thankful for the hard times. Find the best in it, be thankful. Remember, if you like this, if you'll like it, share it, follow anything that's added value to you. If you could just comment value, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful Thursday, and I will see you guys tomorrow for Financial Fridays.